This podcast is a conversation by Julie Benetti and Susan Barbaro and is a production of VI Alliance, copyright 2019. And this chart-busting hit, Alone Leave Me, courtesy of New Threads, is available everywhere.
Hi, this is Susan, and I am here with Julie, and we are here to talk about love. Love and dating and energy. So go ahead, you have something you want to say.
Well, I just feel like prefacing it because I am married and I just had my 25-year anniversary.
Wow.
And we were, I think, engaged for 3 years before that, knew each other for 2 years,
so
had separated,
years.
Got back together, blah, blah, blah. So it's been a number of years, yes. And so we always say we kind of approach things from two different ends. So there's me coming from that side of being in a relationship. And again, I'll say I'm married and I work on my marriage because every day when I wake up, something new begins again. It's not like you carry over stuff from the day before and stuff, and I just try to be present.
And so I am coming from the other end, as I am divorced and I am not in a relationship. However, I do the same in terms of every day I approach it as a new day. Mm-hmm. And I bring my best self forward, and anything's possible. Mm-hmm. I used to say when I was married, I used to say to my single friends, when you're walking down the street, you never know who's going to be just on the, right around the corner. You never know who's going to pop out. And so, the reason for this is, I was saying to you, it is like wedding season. It's getting into wedding season. And, it's getting to be, it's May. Today's May. Right. So it's getting closer to the summer, and everyone thinks it's summer flings and, that whole love is in the air. Mm-hmm. And, what is the energy around that? And what do you do when you are in a relationship and you've been in a relationship a long time? Hello, you. Mm-hmm. And what do you do when you're not in a relationship? And when you are really readjusting where you've been to where you're going to be.
And it's funny because this podcast in particular kind of branches out into all our other podcasts, because when I think about that, I think you really have to work on what you're thinking about, what you're saying to yourself, your mental conversation, not comparing yourself with other couples, other people. I think it was interesting when we first got married because, you're kind of like challenged by society and what everybody else is doing, and are you doing the same thing, and are you having the same events?
This is the way it's supposed to be done, and
exactly.
You're supposed to do this, and
and are you having the same events, and are you doing this, and are you participating, are you not, and what, you haven't done that, and what, where does all that come from? And that isn't really the important part because it comes from out there. But when you really kind of clear yourself from all that and you work from inside and remember, why you really connected with this person and what that person means to you.
So you did a beautiful synopsis, but when we were talking, we weren't sure where we were going with this because we've been talking about it, and I got it. So, the interesting thing is being single. I have a lot of friends, and a lot of friends, a lot of them are younger than me, and I'm not talking about my kids. Even my kids, but a lot of them are a little bit younger than me, and they're all like, you got to go online. You got to go online. Mm-hmm. And, it's interesting because this whole came about because I told you I heard on the radio, of all places, that Facebook is now going to start, they're going to add a dating application to the website. And they said, I suppose what's going to happen is you go on and you have if you have a secret crush, you can somehow notify whoever you notify. I don't know if it's like a Tinder thing. And if they do the same thing, then you each get a notification. They say, there's no one's like policing it if you're married or whatever. So of course, and so the reason I'm bringing it up is because what, we talk about a lot is that, so if you don't do online dating, how do you meet people?
And, the funny thing about, you tell me this, and I'm not looking to meet, someone to date or do, I'm fine where I am. And, it's funny because it just makes me think of, oh my gosh, this sounds like all the stuff we wrote about in the Endra scripts. Because Endra is this beautiful, magical woman who works in energy, works with energy, and she's a quote unquote witch, but she's so much more, and she's even like a matchmaker, but even more working in the energy. And when you brought up this Facebook part, I said, really? Because we mentioned all this stuff about, some very funny situations and instances in the Endra scripts related to relationships and what people were doing to meet people and what was occurring. And it's almost like, prophesizing that Facebook is trying to do this now. We talked about it in Endra. And yet, she's working with energy. She didn't work online or anything like that.
No, and actually what's interesting is that the story talks about Endra, the anecdotes of a modern day witch, but she's not a witch.
Right.
She's so much more than a witch, but how else can you describe her? We're limited sometimes with vocabulary, so a witch. And similarly, her quote job, and again it's quote because what does she need a job for, but is matchmaker. People go to her because they think she's a matchmaker, because lo and behold, she finds these amazing matches for people. And she doesn't go online, she works with energy. And so people come into her, and she's great because she kind of cuts through all the BS to get to the core of what's really going on, and finds out, oh, this is a good person for you. And of course, her matches, everyone in town, they call her a matchmaker. Who knows what she's really doing?
Exactly.
But so it's interesting. So we can have this conversation because, you've been married for a long time, and lo and behold, I'm not. And so we have these conversations a lot as to, what do you do? And you have fun beating up on me when, I'm like, well, this is what people are saying, and so,
with
love.
Right. And a really great part of this too is, we've been working on the energy of love. I'm working on the trivia side of it. That's another, book, and there's probably be a part 2 book where we're going to talk about collaboration and love and partnerships and things like that. And, the funny thing about this all, when you talk about being online, I'm going to say my husband's a great guy. There are issues sometimes, sure, with anybody there is in a relationship. Yet he doesn't even work online unless he has to. And so how would you meet someone like that if he's not online? Well, there has to be something about the energy. And there was a real energized way where we met. And it's a really cool story that I'm kind of just going to throw out there. That's it. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a really cool story how we met. And if, you're looking for someone to be on a cell phone or not on a cell phone, or be on a certain app or not on a dating app, I get where it's kind of like a roll of the dice. So... But I'm not trying to take you into kind of a distressing area. I still think when you just go full force into the energy, because that's how I met my husband. I was just so full force in the energy of doing what I was doing and focused, working on myself and, being happy where I was and working on that. And he just appeared. And then I just was open to an exchange. And I think that's a big part of it. When you throw in social media and stuff, sure, you can use it as a resource. Yet then when you start going, swipe left, right, give a little, what do you give, a little gift? Or how many roses do you, how many blah, 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 blah. How does that work? Because in actuality, you just sit on social media more. You're not even out there having fun with each other.
No.
On a date, exploring. And I think, well, that's great because social media gets you trapped in social media more. But hello, that's not what you wanted. You want a relationship. And, relationships, no matter what they are or who they're with, you got to work on them. And how can you work on them just through social media?
I was going to say social media distracts everybody from life, and it almost makes us a little bit, nonstop. I was talking to someone the other day, in the middle of the night, they were up, they got bored, they went on Facebook, and I heard a story that I would have been disgusted with. But so where I'm going with that is it's almost like an impersonal way of connecting with people. How tall are you? What do you weigh? What's your, and people can be relatively nasty and very self-centered. It's not about who are you. And granted, I haven't been on. I'm not really the best one to talk about it. One time we sat down and I'm like, all right, let's just do this. And I was like, no way. We got off. But I mean, and I haven't gone on. And so, but from what I saw, it just seems it's very cold and it's very isolating. And be people that could come in and say, well, you didn't go through all these gyrations to find the right person.
And that could be,
and that doesn't mean
right,
that doesn't exist.
Right. I think it's good to be aware, because there's also kind of little triggers and tricks in there where, like we said with anything. I mean, any kind of news out there, any kind of media kind of jerks around your adrenals. And so you get, so if you're there and you're kind of bored and you're looking for some kind of entertainment or something, and you go on social media and you get locked. I mean, it's happened to me. I'm working on Twitter. I'm doing something.
Are you on Match?
No, I'm not on Match. God. No, I'm not interested. Jeez.
That was a joke. Total joke. I know. I know you're not.
No, I mean, if you go out day to day, I mean, I have a hard time, I mean, whatever. People come up to you just in normal life. But if you're on social media, you're kind of sort of not out in normal life. And that's not to say that you cannot utilize social media and apps to your benefit to get what you want. But when you get trapped in them and you get trapped in the cycles and you buy into okay, I sent her a gift and she sent me a rose and hello, have you met the person? I mean, then you're just playing a video game.
So I think the other thing that we're trying to make a point of, and I say it because I hear you and I keep going with, if I'm being who I am in all of me, the people who are like me are going to be around. They're going to show up. And I think people get lost thinking that that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. If I'm just going to be, I have to, because people feel like so here's the interesting thing. It's, how are you proactive, right? Because everyone thinks that, well, if I want to meet someone, I need to be proactive. And that's true. Yet they don't think about going into the energy of who they are and being who they are and going in the space of what they enjoy doing. They think being proactive at this point is going online. Okay, I got my picture up there. Okay, I've got this up there. Is that really... Is that really being proactive? I mean, yes, it is. It is a form of being proactive, but what I always like to see, how do I do it smarter? I don't want to work harder. How do I work smarter? And I think that's a big part of this. And I think that's the point that I'm learning through this experience is if I can be fully myself and trust, then by default.
Well, it's funny because that part about where you say, being proactive, I mean, you can really receive a lot of abuse from the way words are used and directed to you by anything advertising their social media or their platforms or anything, making you feel like you're not a part of everything else that's going on. Yet if you went out by yourself, if you had the time to do this, and you took a poll of 1,000 people around you, you would say, oh, wow. That's not really the truth of, what these social media platforms are saying really occurs. And maybe something else can occur because these 1,000 people that I polled had something completely different occur.
Because social media, as much as we just think it's a social, it's a business.
Exactly.
We can't fool ourselves. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of them, we cannot forget are a business. And what they say isn't necessarily what everyone's saying. It's what Mark Zuckerberg wants to say or what, whatever whoever's paying the most money wants to say.
Right. And is that really the only person you want to listen to is Mark Zuckerberg? Because I want to love to ask that question. I mean, really? Of all people you could listen to about relationships and interactions and people, when you look at where the intent of stuff comes from,
I didn't even think about that.
When you look at where the intent of if you saw that beautiful movie that was done about the story about Facebook, oh my gosh. And that's not to say anything good or bad about Facebook, because you can look at the intent about everything. when you start to look at the intent of where something is originated from,
and
exactly
take that and go to. So,
I know, and now
go ahead, tell them, say what it's about.
No, and now it's going to be a dating. I mean, I don't really have anything to say because it's not up to me to say anything because I'm not out there. No, I'm not. I love that Seinfeld line where George says, "If my mom's out there, I don't want to be out there." You know, that kind of thing.
Oh my God,
George's mom.
That's how I feel. That, you know, I could get myself in trouble, but when I see what's out there, but I don't want to be
that's
out
the
there.
perfect thing that's the perfect thing to get you on, because is that really how you feel, or is that how you're making yourself feel because of all the crap that comes in your face? If you were just going out there enjoying your day, enjoying going to work with the horses, enjoying, you know, we hang out, we have conversations, we do podcasts, we're writing stuff, you see your kids enjoying it, all that other crap wouldn't be coming towards you. So are you making yourself feel a certain way because of all the crap coming towards you? And now, let me preface that by saying that, you know, as someone who's married, I could say the same thing, because there's a lot of crap that comes to you when you're in a couple and you're married. I mean, if I absorbed all of that, oh my gosh.
It's,
I mean,
still
25 years. I know, it is.
Actually, and it's not funny, but whether you're in a relationship or not, I don't think dictates the level of anxiety or depression or frustration you have in your life.
Right.
Sometimes this side of it, not having a dysfunctional relationship is actually freeing.
And there's nothing, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Wouldn't that be okay?
Exactly.
I mean, so it's funny because of social media
You're
and
right.
all these and everything, they're not going to, the news and everything, they're not going to tell you, it's okay. You're perfect the way you are. They're not going to tell you that, because then you're not going to buy the book.
No, you're not.
You're not going to, you know, subscribe to the platform.
And if you're, well, wait a second. You know what? It's interesting that, of course, they said with Facebook that this is going to be, you know, whether you send some kind of a notification, and if they send a notification, they inform them. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're married or not. So what is that saying?
I know.
I mean, then does it come down to, well, I'm married, but geez, you got 4 notifications and you're married. I'm married. How come I only got 2? Like, what? And then people going to be depressed? Oh my gosh. People don't find me attractive because this other person who's married got 6, but you're married.
Right.
You should, why are you open to that?
Exactly.
But it doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter.
And you know, when I hear all that, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying about how frustrating and how anxiety ridden that makes you feel. Yet also, what a huge crap of distraction. I mean, you could be out bicycle riding, boating,
listen to great podcasts that help clear your head,
yes,
make you feel better, learn and grow. Or jump on the social media platform and get caught in Never Land.
Right. And again, you know, there's pluses and minuses, and that's up to you to decide. Yet if you're making yourself feel a certain way because of what you're interpreting, which could be incorrect because you're making yourself feel a certain way, I mean, look at that cycle.
Well, the other side of that is, again, what that cycle is irrelevant of whether or not you're in a relationship.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So for all you people out there on social media looking for dates, jump up, because Facebook's coming to your rescue.
Oh gosh. Thank you for listening to this production from EI Alliance. Check out our Amazon authors pages for books and podcasts. Find New Threads music and their latest album on iTunes, Spotify, and newthreads.us.